Hello, I'm Jason, and welcome to your tiny daily kick. Silence. It sounds peaceful, doesn't it? Calm space, free from noise, chatter, distraction. But what if I told you that silence can also be one of the most loudest, most confronting experiences of your life? And that's exactly what I discovered when I signed up for my first monastic retreat. And when I applied, I remember the organisers asked me if I'd done much meditation before, and I admitted, no, not really. So their advice was quite simple and straightforward to me. Look, let's get you to try a weekend meditation retreat first, because this 10 days is going to be very difficult for you. But anyone who knows me knows that I don't just like to dip my toe into the water. I prefer to cannonball it in. So I told them, nope. I said, give me the full hog, 10 days. And before I knew it, here I was in a strict monastic retreat, living like a monk, head shaved, robes on, 2 meals a day, breakfast and lunch only, because that's the way monastics live. And most confronting of all was no communication whatsoever, no talking, no eye contact, no small gestures or polite smiles. It was basically designed to strip away the external world so you can face your internal one. You have nothing else to turn to. Now, for someone like me who had built my life on expression, communication, singing, sharing, acting, this was really like putting a cork in a bottle of champagne, shaking it. Honestly, something had to explode. And on the very first night, it did. You see, I woke up the next morning to find several of the men smirking at me. And we were in a dormitory of I think there was about 20 guys in each room. And they'd glance over, they were grinning, then quickly look away because they weren't supposed to be laughing and communicating. And I thought to myself, they were pointing at me, and I thought, what have I done wrong? And finally, one of the guys broke the rules and he leaned in and whispered, do you know what you screamed out last night? And I shook my head, dreading the answer. And he said, you screamed, fuck. And honestly, I froze. Out of every single word in the English language, that was the one my subconscious chose to deliver at full volume into this hall of meditating monks who were peacefully sleeping. Oh my goodness. Now the men chuckled, they all chuckled under their breath. I turned bright red. And suddenly I was terrified of going to sleep the next night. Like, what was going to happen again? What if I shouted something worse? What if I launched into a full comedy routine in my sleep? Or I know that I could talk in my sleep sometimes. What am I going to say? But here's the strangest thing. It only happened once, just that one night. And it was as if my system simply needed to release a pressure valve, like adjusting the pressure cooker valve, on those old pressure cookers. Looking back now, I can laugh at the absurdity of it. That single outburst summed up exactly how my body and mind felt about being thrown into silence, shocked, overwhelmed, absolutely desperate for release. But after that night, something began to change. The awkwardness softened, all the hunger pains, I got over that, and slowly the silence that had felt like this prison began to feel like a gift. Without chatter, without distractions, I started noticing details I'd never paid attention to before. Even my breathing, the crunch of gravel underfoot, and the way that the thoughts, I became aware, conscious of my thoughts passing. It wasn't easy, but by the end of those 10 days, I touched something that I never knew before, that I never even knew was possible, a deep sense of inner peace. And that was the retreat that became a turning point in my life. It planted the seed that would later grow into my YouTube channel, a space to share calm, comfort, and meditation and stillness around the world to help people to sleep. But here's what I love most about the story. It's funny, it's human, and it reminds me that growth doesn't always look so graceful. Sometimes it's very awkward. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it might be just you yelling a 4-letter word in your sleep while you're trying to be the best you can to be a monk. That's okay, right? Because growth isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up. It's about leaning into the discomfort and letting yourself adjust. And sometimes that adjustment looks like serenity. Sometimes it looks like an embarrassing outburst. But both are a part of the journey. So here's my encouragement to you. Don't be afraid of looking silly when you step into something new. If you're learning, growing, or stretching yourself, there's always a good chance that your first attempt won't look polished. And that's not failure. It's the process of becoming. Laugh at those clumsy steps, celebrate the awkward beginnings, and trust that on the other side of that discomfort, there is a gift waiting for you. And if, like me, you ever happen to blurt something out in your sleep, well, hey, at least make it entertaining. Choose a word that can make it really entertaining. That's it for today. If you've enjoyed these tiny daily kicks, don't forget to follow and share the podcast so others can join us too. Until next time, I'm Jason Stephenson. Imagine boldly, then go out and live it.